I don't know if y'all noticed that Trump list of the countries that he doesn't want to come to the U.S., of the people he believes shouldn't be able to come to the U.S. or he's banning. Have you all noticed that it's mostly black people? Have you all noticed it's either black people or islanders? I wonder why. My question is, why not Europe? Why not European countries? Why not France, Germany, Finland, Spain, Italy? Why not? But no, it's predominantly black people. There is a reason for that. And then you want to tell me that he's not racist? That he's going to make America great again? Yeah, it's the white America.
Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean, I greet you with a lot of love. And I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for all my subscribers and everyone who comments on my video, whether negative or positive. I salute you. Now, today I'm going to talk about something that is more powerful. We all know, I've been saying the system is trembling. The system is in the state of fear. I've been saying this, that we are going to a state where there's a shift we are going to see, where black people are going to rule. And if you are doubting my words, you just watch, because very soon these empires are going to fall. Now, the truth is, these white systems and the empires have been trying to put traps for black people to fail. I've been trying to put laws and orders to try to oppress black people. One thing we are witnessing is where black Americans are moving to Africa. One thing we are witnessing is that black people are uniting, but the system is counterattacking. They are trying to restrict that move of black Americans to Africa, because they know once black Americans and Africa unite and they talk one language, they are done. Now, you have heard about the where America, for example, Trump is putting sanctions on a movement between Africa and his country, trying to restrict the movement because they are saying about the security purposes and everything. So these sanctions or these travel bans, personally, I think it is trying to reduce that movement that they are seeing, because black people are reconnecting with Africa like never before. And this movement, this wave, is bigger than just tourism. It is destiny. It is prophecy. I have a lot of black Americans in my inbox telling me that they are coming, or his or her family is coming, visiting Africa, visiting Kenya, visiting Ghana, and they are not just coming to tour. They are coming to stay. On that note, white America has decided, you know what, let's put travel bans. And that's why I say they are trying to restrict movement. They are trying to tell black Americans, you know what, don't go there. Africa is poor. There's no security. Please don't go there. But black people are coming. Now, before I continue with my commentary, I want you to watch this video and then we continue.
But why isn't every African country like Chad? Why doesn't every African country behave like Chad? Donald Trump banned Chad from going to the USA. They also banned the people of the USA from going to Chad. Very simple. I don't know why us as Africans have the mentality that without the USA we cannot survive. Guys, tell me one good thing the people from America have done for Africans. Tell me one good thing they have done for us, or one good thing we have benefited from them. Nothing, guys, nothing. It is very simple. We need to bring Idi Amin policies back into power. Give the countries that he has banned from going to the USA, they should also ban American citizens from going to their countries. Very simple. They should also ban American countries from going to their countries. Literally. Because it doesn't make sense. Like, so he has banned your people from going to his country and his people are still in your country. Why? Why? Let me tell you, the only thing Americans have done for Africa is nothing. Like, guys, if you see Americans in an African country, just know there is either oil, there is gold, there is diamond. Americans have never helped Africans, guys. They have never helped Africans. They have never. Even the people that built their country, these black Americans, what are they doing to them right now? Aren't they the same people they are profiling? Aren't they the same people they are racist to? Aren't they the same people they are doing all these things to? And aren't they the people that built their country? They are the ones. Guys, Donald Trump has banned people from your country from going to their country. Ban their people too. Very simple. I even don't get the concept of why we need visas to go to America, and some countries they don't need visas to go to. Why? If we need visas to go there, they should also need visas to come here. Guys, Africans, we really slack a lot and it's so annoying. Like, what? What? He has banned people from your people from his country. Ban his people from your country. Very simple. Very simple. Be like Chad.
I said when Trump rolled out his travel ban list of different black and brown countries that it won't be long until he extends this to the rest of the Caribbean and the rest of the continent of Africa. And sure enough, any leaked document signed by either DeSantis or Cruz, he extended the ban to pretty much the entire continent of Africa, all the countries located, and the Caribbean. Now people are talking about FIFA and the Olympics organization considering moving the World Cup and the Olympics out of LA as well as other areas that are hosting in the US. I know Atlanta's hosting one of the games for 2026. You'll already see artists basically say, hey, we got to cancel this. We are not doing a USA because of visa issues, because of immigration issues. There's no way the US can host any international event with these immigration and travel ban policies. And I will not be shocked if FIFA is having a lot of meetings, a lot of Zoom calls to possibly move their games to other safer countries. Now, granted, no country is actually safe because they have their own stuff going on, but compared to the US, it's a lot safer over there. And if we're being so for real, the amount of money that comes from tourism, from people coming into the US, is a lot. I think the economy is bad now. Baby, the tourism years, it's about to look bleak.
But I actually love that Trump is doing this travel ban, because what makes that orange man think that anyone is looking to travel to the United States anytime soon? Just look at how many countries are on this travel ban list by Donald Trump. And then on top of that, look how many are on there that are actually from Africa. Now, the irony of this is, if Africa were to do the same, if Africa were to do a travel ban against America, say no American citizens or no American foreign entities were allowed into any African countries, the entirety of the Western world would crumble, my dear, because where would you guys get your minerals? Oh, wait. Where would you guys get your resources? How would you even be able to watch this video right now if it wasn't for Congo, the same Congo that you're banning? Needless to say, America better learn quickly that historically, countries that have gone isolationists have always fallen. Their empires have always crumbled. So it's very interesting that this is the route that they are deciding to go on. Nobody is rushing to go to the United States right now, especially considering that you guys are literally detaining visa-holding tourists.
Sorry, but the new US travel ban warning is giving, if I can't have you, then nobody can. Because why reissue a warning to African countries like they don't already go through the highest visa rejection rate in Western world historically? So what's really going on? Because what we're not going to do is pretend this is about visa overstays or government instabilities, because if that were the case, half of the globe will be on that list, including countries far closer to Washington than Sierra Leone. So stop wasting our time. This new warning letter isn't really a heads up to African countries. It's more like you're getting too confident for our comforts, right? Because let's face it, an Africa asserting itself isn't a threat, it's an inconvenience. Because think about it, the second countries like Niger, Burkina Faso questions US support in the region, their names get propped up immediately. Or just recently when South Sudan, Libya, and Djibouti refused to play middlemen for US deportees who are of, get this, Filipino, Vietnamese background, just to name a few. And now their name got added to the list. So let me guess, those countries right now are high-risk travel countries? Listen, earlier this year, around March, there were less African countries in the initial draft. Now, Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, a lot of US partners now join the majority. So go ahead and add the remaining 18 African countries left on the continent. Let's see if...
I recently got on Al Gore's internet and I told you all, I say, hey, I'm not really fond of people that like to remind me all the time that race is a social construct, right? Like, because you're right, yeah, whatever, you win. But yeah, it's a social construct. It's constructed to whoop your ass. And I'm yet again reminded of that. See, you think about solidarity, especially within the West African diaspora. We're talking about from West Africa all the way to, the Caribbeans, and then you go to the Americas. What I find interesting about it is no matter how much we try to get into tribalism, the West reminds us often, like, you didn't just need solidarity. You don't want to practice it? Okay, not my problem. Where am I going with this? And what does this have to do with the article? Okay, Trump's travel ban. Well, the first time, remember that travel ban was really called the Muslim ban. Then when Joe Biden got in office, rescinded that. That's gone. He did it again. And then now the Trump administration wants to impose a travel ban on dozens more countries. Right? Let's go through the list. At the bottom here, you'll see the first list, right? So you got Afghanistan, the typical places they'll tell you, right? Sudan, Somalia. Then you got the Haiti, Iran, Congo, Chad, and there's restrictions from places like Burundi, Cuba, Sierra Leone, Togo. So, but here are the countries that are considered right? They're considering these countries to face full or partial bans. All right, Angola, Antigua, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon. You got Cambodia up there. Okay, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ghana, Nigeria. You try to keep Nigerians out, they'll find some way, one way or another. Okay, anyway, and you see the list. You get the point. Now, obviously, some of these countries are not just black people. Yeah, mostly you're going to see countries here that are, Muslim, population, a high Muslim population, and you see a country like Cuba, the history there with the United States. But let me connect this back to my main point. And the main point is that regardless of what the United States has told you, and I read through it, the reasons they've stated for security reasons, the etc. America has a way of radicalizing you where you realize that it's some of these countries some of these countries do harbor terrorists. Oh no. And they think these countries are, what are you doing politically we don't agree with? And some of these other countries are, we want you to bend to our will, and or what resources do you have that we want? It's a culmination of things. But when you look at a majority of these countries, especially the ones of the West African diasporas, the Haiti, the Nigeria, the Congo, the Ghana, these places, St. Kitts, let's go through them again. The Dominica, you look at some of these places, Togo, Sierra Leone, and you start asking questions about the union, right? How close-knit are these people, and how could they stand together to say, okay, big shot America, if you're going to try to impose this ban on us, what can we do as a unit, right? So you don't get to demonize us in the international eyes. Right? The African Union came out and they expressed concern over this bill, or in this case, this order. And then I think about the people. So now let's get away from politics. Us, right? All the conversations people are having about ICE and this, and whether color or the Hispanic population. Then I start thinking about even some of the immigrants that are now nationalized citizens that thought, Nigerians for Trump. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Right? And then I start thinking about all the diaspora wars. My boy he almost got a country for every population. Nigeria, Haiti, Senegal. So yeah, it's all a construct. It's constructed to whoop your ass.
The Trump administration is looking to add 36 more countries to their travel ban list for countries who cannot enter the United States or have severe travel restrictions to the United States. And shocker, they're all in Africa or the Caribbean. This administration is considering adding 60 more countries to this travel ban, which is unprecedented. And these countries have 60 days to meet whatever requirements that they're asking of them, or they will be banned. The countries include Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Bhutan, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Cambodia, Cameroon, Democratic Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Dominica, Egypt, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Kyrgyzstan, Libya, Malawi, Mauritania, Niger, Nigeria, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Sao Tome and Principe, Senegal, South Sudan, Syria, Tanzania, Tonga, Tuvalu, Uganda, Vanuatu, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Ethiopia. Clearly, this is racially driven, has to be, because how is it all countries with black people? Everything in this country is about race. I've always told you guys that.
Guys, you've heard what people had to say, and what I had to say about this is just ridiculous that in 2025 we're still undermined, and we are the ones that actually give these nations everything for them to function, literally. Without our resources, without them coming into Africa, without them coming into our countries, they literally cannot survive on their own, but they are able, with our leaders' help, from the continent, from the Caribbean, to let them do whatever and decide for us, and our leaders do nothing. They are able to just boss us around in 2025, and it's just okay. They feel like it's just okay. That's ridiculous. That is insane. The energy should be the same, like Chad did. You ban African people, you ban black people from, coming to your nations. Your people, palmed people, should, also be banned from coming to our countries. I mean, it sounds fair. It really sounds fair, But yeah, guys, that is it for me in the video. Let me know what you think about this. I might have overreacted, maybe, but I think it's necessary. They are really pushing us to that point that we are not accepting it anymore, especially African youth. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Welcome back. Now, the question that I want them to answer, or let's answer this question, is that why does the system care where Black Americans go? Why do they even care? Do they have reason to care where Black Americans go? If travel is a free ride, if people can visit wherever they want, why does it suddenly become national security issue when it comes to Africa? Trying to raise even the stalwart airplane fee, airplane ticket is very, very expensive. And this is one way to prevent Black people from coming to Africa. And this answer to my question is very simple. The system fears unity. The system fears reconnection. The system fears what happens when the African family that are scattered across America and Caribbean, Europe and South America to come home. They fear that one because it's a unity that they never expected. Now, being honest, I'll say this. Africa is the only continent with everything. Africa is the only continent with a lot of things, with resources, massland, great culture, spirituality, youths, and when you add the skills, creativity, and economic power of Black people in the diaspora, that combination shakes the very foundation of global supremacy. And that's why they care about where Black Americans are going. That's why they panic. That's why they try to stop it. You know, one of the biggest weapons the system have used against Black people is propaganda. Propaganda, lies, divide and rule, you know. They have painted Africa as poor. They have painted Africa as dangerous. They have painted Africa as unstable. You know, Hollywood gave us an endless images of starving children and animals. It gave us an endless images of corrupt governments. News medias only showed wars, diseases, and famine from Africa. So the children of Black Americans, or those Black Americans who haven't visited, they only think of Africa being this way. They only think of Africa being poor. They only think of Africa it's just a drought, just a village somewhere in the desert. They know there's no clean water. They know there's war from morning to evening. There's no food to eat, or maybe one meal a day. That's what they have been sold. But let me tell you one thing for free. Those narratives, those propaganda is to make sure that Black Americans do not come to Africa. Now, if Africa is really so much hopeless, I'll ask this question: why is everyone else here? Why is China building railways and cities? Why is Europe still sucking resources out of African soil? Why is America running military bases all across the African countries? Why are multi-billion-dollar corporations making their profits off African oil, African diamonds, African cocos, and every resources? Why? Why are they here if Africa is that poor as they tell you? If Africa is that dangerous as they tell you? They tell you it's dangerous because they are the one who are creating chaos here. Those propaganda that they are selling to my Black people in diaspora is just a trap. They want to keep us away. They want us to believe that Africa has nothing for everyone. And they want you as a Black American to know that Africa is not your home. They want you as a Black American to know that Africa has nothing to offer you. But meanwhile, they are quietly looting everything here in Africa. Okay? But today I'm going to tell you the lie is collapsing. Because when Black Americans visit Africa for themselves, they see the truth. They see Nairobi shining with skyscrapers. They see Accra City becoming booming with culture, you know, the nightlife. They see Lagos alive, the energy of Nigerians. They see Zanzibar beauty, Cape Town, coastlines. They see Africa, the beauty of Africa. Kigali, Rwanda, the cleanest town ever, the cleanest country in Africa. When they visit, they see the reality. The reality is that Africa is not what Hollywood told us. And that's why the system is terrified. That's why the system does not want Black Americans to visit. These travel bans, the sanctions, is just fear. The system is so desperate and has become a point where they are using these travel bans. They say it is too dangerous to go to Africa, but funny enough, they never tell white tourists not to go. White people travel to Africa every day. Europeans, Asians, Americans, they are moving in and out Africa every day with no problem. They are getting their visa easily with no problem. But when it is black Americans, Jamaicans, suddenly it is too dangerous. Suddenly there are warnings. Go get visas. There are some restrictions put on you. And they use sanctions. They punish African nations. They punish South Africa. They punish Burkina Faso. They punish this Ghana. They punish African countries that dare to stand strong, like Burkina Faso, dare to stand strong. Punishment. South Africa said you need to give back land to the owners. Sanctions. Ugandan president tried to say no to these LGBTQ sanctions. Countries that dare to stand against Western exploitation, that dare to build ties with their own diaspora, that try to isolate those nations, they try so hard to isolate those nations. They are trying so hard to make it harder for the diaspora to connect. And they use fear campaigns. They highlight one story of violence and make it seem like the whole continent is at war. They highlight story of maybe Sudan, story of Somalia to make like whole continent is at war. They exaggerate diseases, they spread myths about instability. They tell you that if you go to Africa, you won't survive. But my family, let me tell you one thing. Black people ain't falling for it anymore. Black people are not falling for this bait. Black people, I'm so happy that you have realized that the truth is, despite having few black people in diaspora who are like, Africa is not my home, I was born here. Nobody is disputing your argument that you are born in America. Nobody is doing that. What we are saying that is that you are our brother. And even if you are born in America, your ancestors came from motherland. Even if your ancestors did not come from motherland, motherland is the mother and is the father of humankind. In one way or the other, your roots start from us. Your roots start from Africa. And that's why we are selling this message. Number two, why we are selling this message of you coming to Africa and uniting. You have been in America for years. You have tried everything. You see how they react on you. You see how serving white supremacy, the consequences, you see it. But why don't we try Africa? Why don't we try this unity with Africa? Why don't we just try once and see if the outcome is positive or negative? I'm so happy. I'm so happy because the rise of black people traveling to Africa is rising very high. Despite all the lies, black travel to Africa is expanding. Ghana's year of return in 2019 opened the door of thousands and thousands of black Americans to visit. Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso, his agenda and his standing bold has made a lot of black Americans or black people in diaspora to visit. The single event brought in over $1 billion in tourism revenue, the year of return. It brought over $1 billion. But more importantly, it brought healing, it brought connection, it brought thousands of people face to face with their history. Right now in Kenya, we have seen more and more diaspora visitors exploiting or exploring businesses opportunities. Tanzania has become a haven for black Americans, for those who are seeking peace and community. Nigeria, with all the hustle and energy, is attracting creatives, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. South Africa, despite of its challenges, remain a powerful magnet for diaspora travelers. And this is not shopping, and this is not stopping, even with all the advisories, even with all the lies, the bans. The numbers are rising. Here in Kenya, the numbers are rising. The movement is growing, and the stories being shared online are breaking the chains of propaganda once and for all. I may say the trap does not work anymore. The trap used to work in the past because they control all the media, but today social media has destroyed that monopoly. Because a single black American visiting Africa can share their journey with millions and millions of people on social media. And what they show, it is the truth. They are showing what is in the ground. They show food, they show culture, they show dance, they show history, they show business, they show love and family. They show the beauty the media never wanted us to see. And here's the kicker. Once people see the truth with their own eyes, they can't be lied to anymore. The veil is lifted and the chains are broken. That's why the trap doesn't work anymore. The trap of travel advisory, the trap of travel ban, the trap of sanctions does not work anymore because information is in our hands right now. Because truth is spreading faster than lies. And this is what I call the power of spirituality return. This is more deeper. It's not just about tourism. It's not just about vacations. It is spiritual. It is divine. For over 400 years, Black Americans were stolen. Black Americans were chained. Black Americans were scattered across the world. Black Americans were told that we had no history, they were told that they did not have a home. They were told that Africa was a jungle. They were told that they were just slaves, that they were nobodies. But now, in this generation, the truth is being revealed and the people are feeling the call. People are feeling the call. When a Black American stops or when a Black American steps onto African soil, something awakens. Something inside say, you know what? I'm home. I'm home. Tears flow. I see them kissing the earth, kissing the soil. Emotions rise. There is something. It is spiritual, man. When an African American just lands on African soil, he or she can hear the ancestors whisper. And that connection cannot be explained with statistics or politics. It is spiritual and it is destiny. It is destiny, and that's why the system is so afraid, because once you awaken spiritually, no propaganda can put you back to sleep. For those who have come to Africa, you can testify. For those who are in Kenya, please comment down there. For those who have visited Ghana, Tanzania, for those Black Americans, for those Jamaicans who have visited Africa, tell people in the comment section what is happening when you just land in the soil of Africa. And let's not forget that Africa is rising. I know there is challenges. We cannot deny that. Africa has challenges. Yes, there is a lot of corruption. There are struggles here and there. But the same is true everywhere. Even white Americans right now are crying. So it's the same everywhere. Let them not tell you that corruption is here. And one say that it's better to sleep angry in Africa than to sleep angry in America. It's better to be jobless in Africa than to be jobless in America. That is reality. The difference that we are having is that Africa has the most potential on earth. 60% of the world's arable land is in Africa. The youngest population in the world is in Africa. The richest mineral reserves are in Africa. The future of energy technology and agriculture, all of it is in Africa. And guess what? Black Americans see this. They see this and they have realized this. They see land opportunities. They see investment opportunities. They see freedom from racism and constant discrimination. They see a place where they are not minorities but family. And that's why no trap can stop them from coming here. I know you can smell the desperation of the system. They are losing control. They are losing their power. They can no longer dictate what Black people are trying to do, and they can no longer block the truth. They resort to desperation. They try to divide Africans from the diaspora. They whisper lies, like Africans don't want you there. They try to create tension. They try to create jealousy. And we have seen even on social media, we have these wars that is going on, the mistrust and everything. They use puppet leaders to discourage Pan-Africanism unity. They push politics that makes visas difficult. But despite all of that, the movement continues, the love is growing, and the connection is happening. Those walls are breaking. The future of Pan-Africanism unity is better. Just imagine the future where we have Black family, Black Americans, Africans, and Caribbeans moving as one. Just imagine that. That's a very great future. The future is real. The future is coming. The future is exactly what the system fears. And that's why they try to put traps, but it is too late. Tell me what you think on the comment section. If you're a Black American who have visited Africa or you are thinking to visit Africa, comment down there. Tell me what is in your mind. Until next episode, peace out.